Hey guys, welcome back. It's Melody. Today I wanted to do another productivity video, and this one is going to be an extension of my Paperlight video, but basically I keep almost no paper copies, and the only things that I write down on paper are things that I do not want to keep long term. And so I want to go through the 3 paper copies that I keep and what I keep on them. And the first one that I keep is my grocery list. And on my grocery list, I organize it every time into 4 categories. In my pantry, I have a magnetic board where I have 2 running lists. One list is everything I get at my main grocery store, which is Kroger, and then the other list is for anywhere else. Whole Foods, online, Target, doesn't matter. I keep it in the second row because those I go a lot less frequently. When I am ready to go grocery shopping, I'll grab out my grocery list, which I keep in my recipe card holder, and I will write down everything in the Kroger column in 4 categories so that I can make an efficient round around the store, and then I will not forget anything. Most houses, you'll have multiple people adding to your list, so you can't expect them to categorize it as they're putting it on. They'll add a new thing every other day or so, and I don't want to think about which category it belongs in and take up a lot of space by spacing everything out. So it's better just to write everything, dump it onto that original list, and then put it into categories. And the 4 categories that I use is veg. So upon entering the store, you'll see the veg section usually first. And you can change up the categories and also change it according to the layout of your store. But basically, when I first come into the store, it's flowers and veg. So if I'm going to get flowers, I'll pick it up there at the bargain center for $2, and then it's meat for me in Kroger, and then after that is the middle section, which is basically just baked food and canned food for me, and I rarely run out of that, so a lot of times I'll just skip the middle section and go straight to the end, which is basically bread and liquid is the end section, and frozen foods. If you have dairy is in between those last 2 categories, so you can squeeze that in there. The less ingredients that you consume, the healthier you are, and the way easier it is to go shopping, because you can only stop at a few places. And so if you use 2 different kinds of broth, for instance, see if you can get away with just using one. Instead of having honey and jam, just have honey, for instance, and see how many things you can get away with, because the less you have to get, the less trips. It's an easy, seamless ride. And so that is my first list, and my second list is my to-do list, and this is my favorite list. I keep it at my desk usually, and basically I don't make it too complicated. I keep my tools as simple as possible, so I just keep it into 2 rows: urgent, not urgent. And most things are not urgent, so the urgent list is very small. The only other thing I do is I might put a star next to something, a little asterisk next to something, if it's going to take only 5 minutes to do. So chores that are super easy, I'll put a little star next to it, because then I'll just knock those out of the way really quickly, so my to-do list will shrink dramatically. That's all I do for my to-do list. I keep it as basic as possible, and then I'll change it out every week. And then the last paper copy that I keep is my notebook. And I try to keep digitized as much as I can, and only keep running lists of things that are temporary or that are necessary to keep a running list of. So for instance, the things that I keep: goals. So if you have broad goals, they don't really belong on a to-do list unless it's a specific errand. So if you have something like do 20 push-ups, which is going to help you lose weight, maybe that's on your goals list, then that's specific and it belongs on a to-do list. But any goals that are broad, I keep it in my notebook, because I don't need to stare at it every day. I only review my notebook maybe once a week. So if you're someone who likes to journal, or you like to read a book and write down the notes, you can use your notebook as a catch-all for everything. You don't need to have specific books per thing. Then wish list, if you have a wish list. And lately I haven't been having a wish list, because I tried to keep my desires as little as possible. Sometimes I can get away with it, and all of a sudden my wish list will just balloon. I don't look at it frequently, like I said, because I don't access my notebook frequently. And then career, and if you are still in school, then you would use your notebook as school. In college, for instance, I would keep all of my running lists in one notebook. I wouldn't have one notebook for school, one notebook for this class, and one notebook for my dreams. I would have everything in one notebook so I can keep it with me. In the career category is also taxes and bills. So I'll have 1 page of my running taxes and 1 page of the bills that I pay every month on the day that I pay it. Projects that you're working on is great to keep in a notebook. So projects that I worked on are things like decluttering. So if you're working on decluttering, then you might have a list of things you're trying to sell right now. That's perfect for a notebook. Cost comparing, I recently went to Kroger, Whole Foods, and Costco and Target, and I compared the cost of so many things side by side, and that's something that's just temporary. I don't want to keep that long term. And you're working on a specific project, a notebook is a great place to keep it. And then on the very last page, so I save my first pages and my last pages for the most important things. So my first page has my tax info on it, and my last page has my address book. The only other thing that I keep in my notebook is my travel list, which basically I write down everything that I could possibly pack, and then that way I don't forget anything. So every time I'm about to travel, it's so much more convenient for me to have a list that's a hard copy. Basically, I categorize it according to how I'm going to pack. So certain things go well together, and you put it in one zip baggie together, so you know exactly how many Ziploc baggies you need. It is so helpful when you never forget anything for traveling ever again. So those are just my tips on my running paper at all times. I know some of you are completely digitized. You have to-do lists, grocery lists on your phone or your computer. But if you have any hard copy lists, let me know. What do you just like writing down? You just like seeing a physical list. Primary reason why I don't use my phone for everything is because I'll be less productive that way, because I'll always be looking at my phone and it's too tempting to start browsing. When I'm in bed, sometimes I'll remember something and I'll pop it in my phone because my to-do list is not nearby. So I like both. I like digital and I like hard copies of certain things. I'm hoping you got a few good tips from this video. Don't forget to like and to subscribe, and I'll see you next Sunday.